Welcome, everyone, to the third episode of the Chris Perish podcast. My name is Chris Perish. Alongside for me, and for the third consecutive week, is the voice Joshua Joseph. Joshua, thank you so much for being here once again. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just like MJ on his first three-peat, the first three episodes of the Chris Perish podcast.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little good time, and just get a little bit of house cleaning out of the way. People, if you're watching here on the YouTube side of things, I definitely say thank you. But also, if you want, make sure that you're hitting that thumbs up button and giving us a like. That goes a long ways and it really helps out the podcast. We really appreciate it. And if you're on the Twitch side of things, please hit those channel points. Do whatever you can to do what you can, and let me know what you want in terms of channel points. If there's something that catches your eyes and be like, hey, you should add this, let me know. And you can do so at perishuters@gmail.com. Also, if you see the screen here, you see the Rogue Energy. That's right. Rogue Energy is a great tool to go and enjoy yourself some nice little kind of energy in the form of, and I'd say it's kind of like a protein shake in a way, but instead of getting all that protein, you're getting nice energy, whether it's through a hydration process or if it's, from kind of like an energetic standpoint. So make sure you go to rogueenergy.com. So many flavors there, so many good flavors, but because we're around the holidays, we want to save you a little bit of money. Make sure you're hitting that promo code PERISH, PERISH, PERISH. Save yourself 10% off because sometimes times get a little tough around the holidays. You want to find a way to save that little buck or two. Make sure you're saving yourself that 10% when you get to that cart process, that end of the purchase process, because in all orders you'll save 10%, not just one. Yeah, Josh, I guess we were talking a little off screen about AEW, company that you like to watch. I know you do your the Collision watch alongs.
I do.
Stuff like that. We were talking a little bit over about the Ring of Honor show that they had yesterday. And where I kind of want to go is it's kind of not so much talking about as much as the product per se, but a lot of news coming out about CM Punk helping the WWE potentially get back in the negotiations for TBS, TNT, the Warner Brothers, or that kind of stuff. And this is really a damper on potentially AEW losing its current television deal. Mm-hmm. Where do you stand on if by chance the WWE were to land this television deal? What do you think the end game for AEW is? And if by chance they lose TNT and TBS, do you think it's going to seriously dent the momentum of All Elite Wrestling right now?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it would, unless there's something in the backstages working and brewing up that Tony Khan's got going on that we don't know about. I mean, potentially, like the group I work with in your house, they were discussing the fact that Saturdays makes no sense for Collision. I mean, valid point for wrestling fans. I mean, especially you, me, with kids and things like that, 8 p.m. on a Saturday, you're probably going to be busy doing something. So what's the harm in moving it to Thursday? So then you have Dynamite Wednesday, Collision Thursday, Rampage Friday. You got those three locked up. Ain't nobody watching Rampage anyways. I mean, who do you know who's watching it? I'm watching highlights because by the time I'm done with my SmackDown watch along, it's already halfway over, and they're not the best in telling stories, so I'm pretty much lost when it gets to that point. So what is a fan like me? I mean, look at the back of this wall. It's AEW except a WCW belt, and I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. We need something. They need to to find an avenue that is way better than what they're putting out, because you're dropping fans like flies, man. They're just falling off. And now Kenny Omega's gone indefinitely. So what do you do?
You mentioned that you had that belt in the background, and that's something I'm gonna say too. Like, if you lose TNT and TBS, you have a championship that has those initials on it. Christian Cage is your TNT champion.
Mm-hmm.
You have a TBS Women's Champion. If by chance they lose these deals, you're renaming titles now, or you're doing something different. Personally, get them out.
Yeah.
I think you have too many titles. That's just a personal opinion. I think wrestling in general has too many titles. Simplify a little bit.
Valid point.
If you ask me, like, what do you do? I think this is the best time to simplify what you're doing, because I think the easiest thing to do when you're kind of backed into a corner and you're like, oh my God, like, how did I get here? Your mind is going to go a mile a minute, right? It's going to travel so much quicker than the rest of your body is going to process. So just bring it all back and just, okay, simplify it as much as you possibly can, and then go forward when you're comfortable. As we have Bastard coming in saying, good day, Bastard. How are you? Let us know. We're talking about AEW and the potential crisis that they're facing with WWE potentially landing TNT, TBS. Now, nothing's guaranteed. There's just a process. Obviously, with the addition of CM Punk, that has helped WWE in their business, and the timing of Raw needing a new television deal that just happens to fit. But to me, I think it's a fun sort of talk about what WWE is getting. Obviously, I'm more of a WWE guy.
Yeah.
But I actually do care more about, how this affects AEW, because it's just unfortunate to see, and the timing is not good right now. If they are to take a hit like that, let's hope there's something in place if by chance that does happen. But I don't know, like, it's just, you're talking about like what do they do, and I just feel like if they keep getting this hit, like these kind of hits, they're forced to do something extreme, and I think that might come to a massive release from a talent standpoint, because I don't know the financials. I don't know if they're prone to making money. No, we were talking about this off screen, and you're saying, well, they have the Woo energy, they have all these sponsors, all that. So maybe they're, they're helping. But my worry is that, okay, but what happens if it isn't? What happens when the numbers come and it's not that good, or it's not as good as people thought? Like, what is going to be the reaction to this? Because we all watched TNA over the years. We saw them always continuously take the financial hit, but they always seem to survive. They always found something to survive, and I'm really hoping that AEW doesn't go in the way of, it doesn't survive. I do want it to survive. I think it's very healthy for the competition. It gives fans, it gives wrestlers, it gives everyone an alternative option to consume pro wrestling, and I think that is amazing. It might not be for me, but I'm still aware of the good it does. There's a lot of people like yourself who are very passionate about it. There's still a lot of great professional wrestlers in that. So, I don't know where it could pick up if by chance loses TBS and TNT, but I really do hope they have a plan.
And here's another thought I just had. Their merch they have completely missed the boat on that, because they allow, for, even though I love it because that's where I get a majority of my tees I don't get in my AEW box,
Mhm.
but Pro Wrestling Tees sells AEW merch.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they don't sell straight up WWE merch. So
No.
you're missing out on that, because I'm not going to AEW website to get your merch. I'm going to Pro Wrestling Tees and I'm picking up your merch because they have everything that you're putting out.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy that. I do, because I'm getting discounts. I'm not paying $35. I'm paying 20 something dollars for a shirt. But at the end of the day, why would you do that? Why would you allow somebody to do that? I mean, I get it, because you're being diplomatic. You're allowing your younger talent who already has pro wrestling tees shops set up. Okay, that's cool. But you're working for me and we're trying to build money. I can cut you in on the merch we can sell, but like there's got to be, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the one thing obviously WWE does very well is they do the business side of things very well. They're a large business. I mean, I think that's just always the big mistake is looking at what WWE does and be like, I don't like that. I want to do something else. But I want to compete against that. And then that's always the one that seems to get you is the competing against them, because it's when you realize they're just too big for you right now.
Yeah.
Now, can you like a product over WWE? Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to go up against a business and a corporation that size, to compete against it in a spot where you're doing just exactly the same there, you're not. Especially when you have this open-end mindset that, okay, wrestlers can, keep their name, they can keep their stock, they can still make money off that, but then we're like, yes, it's nice because you're a lot more friendly to your talent, but at the end of the day, you're also, in my eyes, restricting kind of what they can do on their own accord, because you're you're always going back to something else, and then people are saying, oh, where do I get AEW merch? Well, it's not at AEW necessarily per se. Yes, they do have a shop AEW, but it's not the you're probably going to look over at their, like you said, Pro Wrestling Tees and be like, well, I like that shirt better and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So why am I going over to here when clearly what I want and what I think is better is over here, and I'm saving money doing so? It's not cost effective, and it's not really beneficial. I mean, it's beneficial for the customer because they're getting what they want, but it's not beneficial for the company. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Just that, yeah, I don't know. It to me, I just really hope we can see something. Hopefully we see a story, whether it's closer to the new year, within the new year, that happen, or maybe WWE doesn't go to the route of TBS and TNT and they go somewhere else, and that allows AEW to extend their deal, because you'd have to assume if TNT and TBS do not pick up Monday Night Raw, that opens the door for an extension and stuff like that. But
they definitely need to make a splash here, and the Devil storyline is where you do that, because you want to make people who run television networks excited. You want them to see the excitement, and if you expose who that devil is, and if you have that devil be a specific name, I'm telling you, it's going to pop. Investors are going to want to be a part of this, and the stock's going to grow. They're not going to beat WWE by all means. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying, but their stock and the people will want to watch if you just play this one storyline perfectly.
And we saw from the bloodline how well
Mhm.
one storyline can actually have an impact. Now, I'm not saying this devil thing is bloodline. Not at all. In fact, I will
Totally understand you on that.
actually argue that
It doesn't
it's
even
not even
touch
in the
it.
same. Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't even touch it.
I think what AEW needs, it needs more stories like the
Yes.
devil, and they need to do it yesterday, not
Yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah.
They needed to do it yesterday.
Oh, exactly. 100%.
And I think when I said simplify it, that's what you do. You know, like we're talking now. What does Chris Jericho do? Because as you say, Kenny Omega came out and kind of let everybody know that he's going to be out indefinitely because he has diverticulitis.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out a while. That's a massive hit because that's a massive name and that's a massive draw and a massive fan favorite for AEW. Now, luckily, within a month or so, you're bringing in a name just as big. That Will Ospreay is going to be there, so he's going to be a name. And really, I think secretly that is such a great thing for AEW because
Oh, yeah.
Kenny Omega is kind of taken I don't want to say a backseat, but obviously he's not in the world title picture. He's not in the big main event storyline. He's kind of down the card a little bit, but now you're bringing in somebody that can kind of hit on all cylinders there, and he's new, he's fresh. That's great. And when I say simplify it, don't give me a match that I haven't seen before within the first week of him being there.
Yeah.
Build to it. Give me something like that. You have a start over situation here, and it's a great opportunity to do that because by chance, if in 2024 you have other people that aren't necessarily going to stay, it could happen. Make sure that you're doing everything you can with the guy that is coming in, that he is going to look like $1 million and then some, because that's
100%.
exactly what you need to do. If Will Ospreay can be a household name, then you're looking at your television deals and be like, okay, yeah, we want that on our screen. We mentioned WWE was apparently out of the TBS TNT stuff until CM Punk came back because the power of one guy can drastically change. So who knows? But Will Ospreay is somebody that I think Tony Khan has no room of error on right now, just because of, okay, we really don't know what MJF's doing. I'm sure the Cody Rhodes coming out and saying, I think he's going to be in WWE at some point. That can't feel good unless you have something already in place. Like, what? Like, let's just kind of stop. Let's go to that. Cody Rhodes said in an interview he sees MJF in WWE one day, and this is mere weeks before MJF is slated to be a free agent. The bidding war 2024. Now, that could still be a thing. It might not be. Could have just been a gimmick at this point. Who knows? Nobody knows. And it's not like MJF is going to reveal any secrets. But
I think he already resigned.
I do too. But
I really do. He's too good at this.
But see, that's my concern. He is too good at this, and that's why I'm like, I honestly think he would be stupid signing anything now and not hearing everything out.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he's already heard what they have planned for him over in WWE, but I don't think.
But how can they? Like, I don't think WWE would be offering him anything until he's a free agent.
Okay, they didn't offer him anything, but I guarantee there's been talks where
like
somebody
I hope
said,
tampering is a huge thing in wrestling. Don't get me wrong.
Hey, this might be an offer that might strike you, and this might be a angle we're trying to work with. And I just look, MJF is smart. He's smart as fuck when it comes to wrestling. He understands it. Do I think MJF would be amazing in WWE? Most definitely. but I don't think right now is the time for him to be over there just because of what they already have going on. I think they need to hold back on bringing him over and offering him anything. I think the bloodline story needs to be gone, needs to be done with, needs to be concluded before he comes over.
I think we're gonna see the bloodline story take a massive direction into that stage at WrestleMania, because I do believe once Roman loses the championship, that's when all bets are off when it comes to whether or not the bloodline stays around. I really do agree with you when you say MJF. The timing of MJF going to WWE, I don't think WWE needs MJF in their storylines right now. I think they have so much going on, so many that, where do you plot him in, kind of a thing. Now, with that being said, if there's a chance for WWE to sign him, and like if he is a free agent come January 1, you make that play. You just do it because he is going to be that good. Like, you don't let talent like that go to the wayside. That's what they thought about Jade Cargill. There's an opportunity there. You don't mess it up. You go and you get it right there. And it's, whether you like her or hate her, it's the same with Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call her. If there's an opportunity to have that talent in your roster, you don't look about where we fit her right now. You just make sure you have her so you have the opportunity to fit her in your product right now. And I think you make that decision and then you go, because obviously both companies, they have people there that can make those decisions well. It's just a matter of, are you doing it well? And I think right now that's what we're questioning. We're not questioning, do you have it? It's, why aren't you doing it?
I think you're right on a lot of points there. And what scares me the most as an AEW fan, and I'm not an AEW fan over WWE, but I do enjoy MJF in AEW. I mean, I'm wearing the man shirt right now. I got him hanging up behind me every podcast I do. But what scares me is the way that they have molded Jade so far. They've taken her to events. She's given titles to sports people after their game.
She's larger than life right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so to me, that's something that strikes on MJF's radar, because he knows what he wants in this business, and they're able to give it to him.
The timing is so good right now because of the fact that, there's this almost negative vibe looking at the AEW product, in the sense of like, oh, it's not where it was this time last year. Like, it seems any steam you had going into Wembley isn't there right now.
But I mean, if I can interrupt.
Yeah, no, this is a discussion.
Think about this, though. Think about MJF pulling an MJF and being like, fuck you, Marks. I'm staying where I built, and I'm going to be the pillar that I've always said I was. Yes, all the other boys packed up their bags. They went back to the WWE. Oh, please save me, Triple H. And we see that promo, and we see it explode. I'm telling you, right there's your magic. Right there is what's going to keep fans. That right there is going to be that last pump they do before they're trying to save your overdosed ass, and boom, you're back to life. Let's go. Come on, the party's still going. I'm alive. I think I'm probably just out here on a soapbox in the middle of the street just cheering about AEW, and everybody's just passing by like, shut up, man. You have the right to do it, but god damn it, shut up.
No, I mean, before I go, that Foxtrot Jones, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in and giving us the support. Appreciate that. How are you doing? No, there's part of me that, like, as much as I love WWE, as much as I want to see MJF in there, nothing is nothing's a better story than someone being loyal and sticking to their guns and seeing MJF becoming this massive baby face. And what's more baby face than saying, look, I'm not going to the big guys. I'm staying here because I want this to be the big guys. Yes, there's something noble. There's something great about that. I would love to see it because I think wrestling needs more nobility in it. However, it's a business. And like we said, we're talking about someone that looks at every little thing.
Very true.
You have to think when you're at the red carpet to the Ironclad and he sees the Baron Corbins, the Liv Morgans, the John Cenas, that there's probably not discussions about, hey, I get this more often if I go there. I can do this.
Yeah.
I could be the next John Cena when my career in wrestling's over. Can I be a John Cena while my AEW career is going on? Now, maybe he wants to break the mold and make that possible.
Well, he kind of is. I mean, I know they cut a lot of his stuff out, but he went and he got his Iron Claw
for now. But at the same time, like you said, he's not a major part of it. Yeah, like you start somewhere, I get it, but people can have a movie. Like people did a movie when they're in WCW. Didn't mean they have large WCW / Hollywood careers per se.
Yeah.
But it's a proven track record. When you do go to WWE, that's something that if that's interesting to you, it's a track record that it pans out more often than not now.
I got you. I honestly think he's doing the Piper. He's going to be Piper 2.0. He went out and did his movie that he wanted to do. Yeah, he got cut from it. And I'm not going to say that nobody out there, no director out there is not looking at MJF as a possibility for something. He's probably getting scripts thrown at him all the time. But what I've come to know about MJF, he wants to do it his way. He wants people to know that he can do this. All the people who told him it wasn't possible, that he was never going to amount to anything, he's what people are talking about. And the fact that we're still talking, I mean, he set this up, at the beginning of last year, that his contract was coming up. He just sprinkled it here and there. And then over the past 4 months, it's exploded to one of the top storylines. People are waiting to see what's going to happen. And honestly, if I'm going to go to Vegas and I'm going to put a bet on it, I'm saying MJF stays. He signs a 4-year contract. After that 4-year contract, we will see him in the WWE, if not before him getting bought out, because of what's about to happen with multiple storylines with MJF in this upcoming year.
I just want to also point out that there's not also like point out like there's to counter argue that. But I just also want to like note the narrative that you always see when there's like, oh, what do you think about said name leaving WWE? I don't see him. Well, you said the same thing about Adam Copeland. You said the same thing about this. Yeah. People, if you're saying MJF is not going to leave, Adam Copeland left WWE. Anything is possible. Chris Jericho started a different company outside of Vince. He worked for somebody not named Vince after saying, I will never work with anybody not outside of Vince. He has said that in the past. Anything is possible. Like we know that in wrestling, every card is being played.
Oh, very true.
No one is holding. Everyone is going to bluff until they get that perfect hand. And that's just kind of the way it is. And, it's going to be fun to watch. 2024 is going to be fun to watch whether you want to talk about, the momentum of a WWE or the questions that are arising in AEW, or maybe you're talking about the free agency process that it brings. There's a lot of things. Or if you want to even talk about the resurgence of total nonstop action, that's interesting. How is that going to look? How is TNA going to be perceived in 2024? Like there's a lot of narratives
Oh yeah.
When we are going into the new year. And I think one of the nice things about that is, like you said, we're just talking about wrestling. It's something that there's always something going on. It's like sports. There's always something to talk about.
Very
And
true.
even when it's too quiet, you're probably being set up for something large.
Yeah.
Because I still remember when WWE bought WCW, it was a very boring week before that.
Oh yeah.
And then boom, all of a sudden out of nowhere, just the massive bombshell drops that Vince buys WCW. Like
Yeah.
you're like, what? Like
And then they
absolutely.
didn't even stop with bombshells. Then Shane shows up
Yeah.
on the final WCW, and you find out it was Shane.
The contract
Yeah.
does Reed McMahon.
Dude,
Which
but they revived it. Like you were saying, it was a dull moment in wrestling up until that particular
yeah.
thing, and that sent shockwaves through. Like, people were wondering, where are these guys going to go? Are we getting anybody? Who's coming over? It's like when you're working in an office and one branch absorbs another branch, and you might know a couple people over there. You're like, hey, who's going to be in my office now? And we didn't really get a lot of the people we expected to jump over.
No, I mean there are people under an AOL contract that had an
Yeah.
out where they didn't have to go. So we didn't see like the Hogans, we didn't see the Goldbergs, we didn't see the Stings, we didn't see the Nash and the Halls. Like we didn't see a lot of the bigger names that we were like, oh, okay. Because again, let's just throw this out there. Who didn't want to at that time see Sting and Undertaker more than anything?
That would have been amazing.
That to me is still one of the most oh my god matches that I needed to see in my lifetime that we never did.
Especially at that time, if they
Yeah.
could have done it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Just imagine what that invasion angle could have been if you had Sting, Hogan, Goldberg, like all those guys.
Imagine Test and Nash going at it in a full-blown, just big guy fucking fight. I would enjoy something like that. Even Hall and Test going at it.
Imagine NWO versus DX. Like an actual version, not the Bush League one we got from Triple H and Sting that made no sense. And for the fucking 100,000th time, we had to be reminded about the Monday Night Wars because you didn't do 900 specials about it already on the WWE network. It was, oh my god! Like I'm even to this day, like I fucking hate that match for that reason because one, Sting always went up against the NWO, especially the black and white NWO, the Hogan, Hall, and Nash NWO. He was never on the side of them. And then all of a sudden, you're trying to tell me that they're coming down to save Sting? Fuck no, they're not.
Yeah.
Like give me a break. And then
You would have been
like
better telling me Conan was donning the black and red and coming down to save Sting.
No, Vince Max Moon was coming back, man.
Yeah.
Or for whatever reason, the filthy animals come down. Oh, Ray doesn't have a mask now for no fucking reason, and it's just gonna,
And we got David Arquette.
yeah. And then Billy Kidman and Tori Wilson hashed it out.
They just work things out, Don't worry about it.
Oh my god.
I don't know. It could have been something totally different. I mean, we all recognize that and we see that, and we didn't get that. I mean, we get that on our video games when we set up our own promotions and things like that and play the fantasy league. So yes, it's a missed opportunity, and that kind of alludes back to the whole AEW. I mean, don't miss your opportunities when they're presented in front of you. You have great talent. You have an ability to revive it. You just got to take a step back and understand that you're not the person to push a story. You're the person to write the checks and make sure everybody's happy. or at least pushing for the product.
And then that's just the thing. Like we got like in wrestling, you want to make sure it's good. And yes, good wrestlers can have good matches. But if you want to really provide them with a long-term investment product like a week-to-week show, you need an angle and a storyline that captivates their attention every single week. A good match is great, but a good match should be part of the storyline, not just out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when your parent takes you out as a kid for ice cream. It's great. You're never going to complain, but it means more when it's for a reason. When you got an A on a report card, it just matters. You remember that when it's your birthday, when it's, just when the situation matters or there's something going on and everything's risen and it's just that the tip of the iceberg that just makes everything better. That is what a great wrestling match should do for a storyline.
Very true.
Your storyline is it's your A on the report card, and the match should be your ice cream.
Yeah.
And I think that's just it. It's right now I'm just seeing a lot of people getting fat on ice cream for no reason.
Very true. Very true. I agree with you.
And I don't know why I came up with that reference, but yeah, that's my reference on that.
Hey, that's life. That's what happens here on the Chris Perish podcast.
Yeah, I'm not normal, people. Deal with it. Oh, that was actually the funniest thing though. Like, because I was at my brother's. I didn't get like too rowdy. I was just having a good time. You text me.
Good.
You knew that.
Yes, I did.
But my wife was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, I'm drinking like a monster," and it's like 11:30 at night. She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Oh, just to stay up." And she's like, normal people go to bed." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not normal. No." How long have you been with me? You should know that, but no, not normal.
You married me. It's your fault.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden, this is a surprise. Like, come on.
I didn't sneak into this. You knew what you were getting in.
I've been weird since '86, baby. But yeah. It's a Sunday.
It is.
We talked a little bit last week about football. I was re-listening to our little chat about football last week, and I quite enjoyed it. I think it'd be fun if you want to talk a little bit more about the NFL, because I feel that we had a lot of people may not know this. Actually, I don't think anybody outside of us would know this, but we had once we're talking about doing an NFL podcast.
We did.
Because we both love watching the NFL, the National Football League. And I think one thing I'm very curious about is, we're entering, week 15. It's a crazy week. You're in the playoffs, whether you're fantasy or we're really taking shape on what, the playoff picture is going to be. There's I believe, 3 weeks left.
I believe
4 weeks left.
Yeah, roughly
18 weeks. So, a lot of things are shaping up for this year. We saw a weird offensive offside call happen last week with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe that was the right call. But what I don't understand was how it became a call. Why no one saw that before? And there was a point where I believe the wide receiver, I think it was Kadarius Toney, looked at the referee, and which a lot of people do just to make sure that they're in the proper position.
Mm-hmm.
And the official never signified that he was out of position.
Yeah.
Which was weird to me. I'm like, okay, well, if you're not going to correct him on it, then how can you call him on it? Because it's like, it's weird. Like, it was an odd penalty. I understand. It was to me, the right call because he was offside. Now, does that really change the play too much? No, but guess what? That's something you got to talk to about the owner during the offseason about a rule that could be changed away. If that's going to be a gripe, if you're going to have a gripe about that. Now, my question is, like, both Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are fined. Andy Reid, I think, was 100,000. Mahomes was 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Every game I see the players jumping off that podium and they're talking about what they liked, didn't like, stuff like that, and then getting fined if they're critiquing an official.
Yeah.
Because nowadays officials are ironclad, they're Teflon, they're untouchable.
Official lives matter, Perish.
Well, officially, on the Chris
Officially,
Perish
they
podcast,
matter.
I'm saying if you're going to get that status,
Yeah,
then that lead ref, get your ass on that podium then, and you talk to everybody about why you made that call, what you saw, and you let me know then, as someone who doesn't understand the why, you explain to me the why. I'm asking a wrestling promoter, a wrestling booker to give me the why on a storyline. I'm asking an official to give me a why on a decision, because once I believe you do that, not only do you remove all doubt of why that was a call that needed to be called, but you also educate people and you make people smarter in the process. You help build your game. You protect that integrity of the sport by doing that, in my eyes. I think
you're asking for accountability.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and I can get behind you on that. What I don't like though is the fact that why is this ref not fined that where the player looked? Because I've played football. I assume you played football in school.
Yeah.
Okay. I was a corner, so I had to learn all about the wide receiver. And I also had to learn where I was allowed to be to irritate the bejesus out of that wide receiver. And one thing the coach always said is check with the ref to see if you're off sides. That's all you got to do. You just look at them and you say, am I good? And they'll tell you yes or no. And if they tell you yes, you're in that good spot. You don't need to move because you found it. So why? Okay, yes, he was offsides. Okay, maybe it's an oversight by that ref. Okay, fine. That happens. He's a human. It's error. But there has to be consequences to everybody's actions in that. So if you're going to fire or you're going to find the guys who had a natural response to a call that they didn't agree with, or multiple guys who do this on a weekly basis, why are you not finding the guys who are making these calls and making the reaction happen? You cannot have, no one has a reaction for nothing. Everybody who has a reaction has
it doesn't
type
fall
of
out
meaning.
of the sky.
Exactly. So why not and go into it? Yes. Are they officials? Of course they are. Do they need to be respected on the field? Absolutely. But they also need to be held accountable for the choices that they make that affect the game that is being played.
Everyone makes a bonehead decision, and it is not, nobody's perfect. I'm not saying an official's a robot here.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you are going to protect an official the way you do from league-wise, and they're going to be treated like they are on a pedestal and they levitate above every single one, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But to say what you did may or may not have helped the game. If that offside was called prior to the snap, or right when, like, I've seen plays, you snap the ball, whistle, flag, boom. Why couldn't that have been a thing there?
Yeah.
If anything at all.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, I just don't understand why they allowed the play to go, why it all of a sudden went, and then he just lazily threw the flag in the air and be like, oh, we'll just call it when the play is over.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's
Well,
it's not like NFL players aren't putting everything on the line week in and week out, and they're that's why you're getting that response. Adrenaline is at the max.
mm-hmm.
Everything's at the max here. So of course the response is going to be at the max. This is kind of where you have to weather the storm of how loud the response is. If they want to drop an F-bomb, they're like, what the heck are you doing? Yeah, you got to let that kind of you just got to bob and weave that. And you just got to listen to okay, what do you mean? Why is this called? Okay, explain it to them. And to me, this is why an official is so important, because just like anybody else on that field, the official can help grow the game too. You don't have to be a player. You don't have to be a coach. You don't have to be a manager, whatever. An official can help grow the game and keep that integrity of the game. Just go up there. And I don't say all of them, just a lead official, the one in charge. You go out and just be like, look, by rule book, by rule, blah, blah, blah. This is what we saw. This is why we called it. We understand that maybe this is not a penalty that gets called a lot, but we still have to call it when we see it. And that's why we did it. And it's just like, if you just did something simple like that, I'm sure you might not like it, but you'll understand exactly a little bit more. And if you're a new fan watching for the first time, not understanding what the heck is going on, now you're educated. And guess what? Now you're a new fan with a little bit more idea about the game, because one of the number one things a new fan doesn't understand about a sport, the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've heard it multiple times, while watching with somebody who just started getting into football, and they ask, why can't all the calls be challenged? And I think if they open that up to where you could challenge anything, keep the challenges where they are to, you're only allowed to do that, but open it up to where you can challenge any call, and they're yours to waste.
I think in the Canadian Football League, they have challenges for almost anything. Trust me, as someone
Canadians
who
are
was
doing it right.
Nah.
On that particular thing.
I wouldn't go that far.
I got to give you guys a win when I can.
Mm-hmm. We also give people a point for missing a field goal. So,
hey, buddy, you did a good job, eh?
Yeah, it's the Canadian way of, you don't need to know your name for a test. You can't lose a mark here. Congratulations, you tried.
You tried, buddy.
Nothing's more Canadian than congratulations, you tried. The participation ribbon for adults is the single point in Canadian Football League. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's fantastic. I absolutely had no clue about that.
Yeah, it's called a rogue. If you kick a field goal and you kick the ball and it goes past the end zone, you get, or it's not a returnable kick, you get a point. If you make it, it's 3.
Yeah. While we're on the NFL, why are we celebrating the Bears? Not you,
I don't,
but I know you don't. But the Bears fan base, just because this coach finally got 2 wins in a row. Why are we? What are we celebrating? Seriously, what are we doing?
I didn't know anybody celebrated the Bears.
He's got to go undefeated the rest of the year to have a solid, decent standing. And I'm sorry, even with the Browns that they're going against right now, there's 6 to 8 people out on the Brown side. I'm still, as a Bears fan, not confident at all with them coming out. I mean, I'm seeing Joe Flacco behind the ball, and I'm just, having thoughts of, wow, he's destroyed us multiple times before. Who's to stop him now? Because it's not us.
I don't know. I don't know anybody that celebrates the Bears. So you're asking the wrong person here. I look at them as oh, you're trash. No offense. I know they're your team, but
Wow.
well, it's like, okay, you traded for what, DJ Moore in the offseason. Okay, great. You finally got a wide receiver one for Justin Fields. And Justin Fields is, probably not going to be on the team next year. They're probably going to draft like a Caleb Williams or something, replace him. They're probably going to try for Marvin Harrison Jr., and that probably won't work. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I really question the long-term vision right now on that team. I just don't get it. And I'm also going to point out that week one, I said that the Lions were winning the division, and you in a watch along comment questioned me on that. They're winning that division.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
First off, the conversation started off with me saying I am tired of Lions fans winning one game and then going, we're going to the Super Bowl. That's what I was.
I always said they were making
understood what
winning
you
the division.
were saying, but I was speaking to the idiots out there who are thinking the Lions are going to win a Super Bowl and it's going to be fucking blue and silver Super Bowl. It's not. It's absolutely not. They are going to win their division, and that is great for them. That is a big boost for the Detroit Lions. I mean, come on, think about it. You guys, the Detroit Lions have had Barry Sanders, one of the best running backs to ever touch a field.
Yeah.
And
they had
what
one of the
happened,
best wide receivers ever, and they didn't win nothing.
And that's where I was going next. You had Megatron. The dude was a phenom. I was tuning into Detroit games over the Bears games just to see what he could do. And you didn't win. You let it diminish. And here you are. You got a team that is putting it together and they're understanding all the assignments and they're winning. But you cannot give them that boost right now. You can say, yeah, you guys are doing great. Division champs. That's what we're looking for. No, where I'm from, I'm not too far from Detroit. There's a lot of Detroit fans I work with and everything. And I'm telling you right now, that first win, they were ready to sell their houses and bet on the Lions right then and there.
I will say, though, after the last decade and maybe last 2 decades for them as fandom, to have hope like this, I can understand why they're just like, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
But no, you never win the Super Bowl in the first 18 weeks of your year. You just get to a position to win the Super Bowl in your first 18 weeks of the season. That's just the reality of it. But for me, it's just like I think that was the first time that division was truly open for anyone.
Yeah.
In a while. I think for the last little while, you knew it was either going to be mainly either the Packers or the Vikings taking that division.
Very true.
And but this was the first time where it's like, oh no, it's open. All it takes is probably whatever team is more consistent will win it this year easily.
But I'm telling you right now, either next year or the year after, the Packers are going to be right back on top.
Oh yeah,
they're going to just watch a game of theirs. You can see it's a team that is understanding things and putting it together.
And Jordan Love is not someone to sleep on. He is someone that just he just gets better and better and better, and it's going to be fun.
That's why scary.
I was talking to my brother, who's a large Packer fan, and I asked him, do you want your team to make the playoffs, or do you want them to fall short? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, part of me kind of wants them to, if they don't make it, they get a better pick and you can get a better get a better player, which will help. But it says something that with Jordan Love in his first year, number one quarterback, if he can somehow squeeze into the wild card, that does something for his mindset.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I think the one thing you want to do is I think it's important for Jordan Love to make the playoffs as fast as he can, because understanding that you can do it at a young age at a number one, I think is the best mindset to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Like you said, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it just gives you the, like, there are so many quarterbacks that just don't know if they can do it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no matter how hard I try, it's not happening or it hasn't happened yet. Yeah, you can hold on to that hope for so long until you start questioning whether it's possible. But if he was able to win a wild card right away, it's like, yeah, okay, that's what I get to build on. That's my standard for next season. Or
No,
that's
I
like my like
agree with that.
so like it's good. Like great quarterbacks don't just, plateau their expectations. They have it at the highest.
No,
Like if you want,
you're
go ahead.
on that with that.
Yeah. Like if
Because
I
I
want to be,
mean, his confidence, like you were saying, his confidence level would go from that of what it is now to the next level. And to me, that brings him up more in a leadership role because that's what they're going to be asking of him in the next few years. So if you give him all the confidence you can, first round pick, first this, first that, and then he makes his first year, he makes it. He makes that wild card. He wins that game. So if you have to go for a lower pick, you have a quarterback who can be like, hey, bro, I did it last year. All we got to do is follow the formula we got going, work you into it. We're there. And then that leadership role grows and you become something on the Packers.
well, and that's just it. Like I believe every starting quarterback should have that golden, or I think it's golden for every team, but just that square with the C, gold, whatever color it is. Like you want that. You want that filled out.
Yeah.
You want all the stars. You want to be that captain all the time. And I think that's important. You say quarterback is the most important position in football, so you want that to be your true leader. No hesitation on, is that a thing? You need it to be a thing. Usually the best teams are the ones with the quarterback as their number one guy, not only driving the bus, but when that bus stalls, first one to push it forward. That's what you want. So yeah, it's important. And that's why I think, like you're saying, next year I wouldn't be surprised. Like you wouldn't be surprised with the Packers in there. Yeah, and I do think the Packers are the next team because they're the team that has that stuff figured out.
Yeah.
The Vikings, they don't have it figured out. The question right now for them is, are they keeping Jefferson? Do you bring back Cousins? And if can you even do both? Is that plausible? And then I still think you guys don't know what your identity is. I don't think the Bears know what their identity is in 5 years.
Absolutely not.
And it's like, okay, well, is it Justin Fields or is it somebody else? And if it's somebody else, how much patience do you have for another rebuild?
I don't know. I just watched them not even get past the 20-yard line and had to turn over on downs.
Well, I'm a Saints fan with Derek Carr. He knows how to get to the 20-yard line. He just doesn't know how to do much past that. So,
well, at least you get there.
Yeah, well,
we didn't even get out of their 20-yard line.
But
we were still in ours, where we started the entire horrible monstrosity. Justin Fields, he's a good quarterback. He's gonna do something, but not with the Bears. His whole game plan does not work with their game plan. Yes, the Bears are a run offense, but at the end of the day, they've had a quarterback who handed the ball to the runner. He didn't make all those decisions and put himself in risk at all times. So, I mean, if this is how the direction that the Bears are going, then it's going to be a few years with Justin Fields. We're going to figure it out, and then they're going to find some quarterback that wants to come into the Bears. I mean, because in a long time, Justin Fields has been the first quarterback to actually want to come to the Bears.
Yeah.
Our past quarterbacks that we've brought over have not been like super excited to come to the Bears. Jay Cutler came because there was a big ass paycheck. Who the hell wouldn't come? And then you got concussed Brian Urlacher next to you telling people, oh, he's the toughest dude I've ever played with. Shut up, Brian. Go try to grow your hair, because that was the most ridiculous statement. His fucking finger. Oh, my finger hurt. Oh, big freaking deal, dude. You were standing over there pouting the entire time. You're in a playoff game and you're being a baby bitch boy. I love you, man. I got your goddamn jersey hanging in my studio right in front of me. I see it every day I come down here. And the fact that I have to be the one guy in the fan group that was like, hey, we got Jay Cutler and I'm super stoked for him. You know, I was like that for almost his entire time being there. And I feel like a fool. I feel like a fool anytime I put on a Bear. Look, I got a Bears banner hanging right next to me. Oh, drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if people want to know why I picked black and gold, yeah, it's pretty obvious. I'm a Saints fan, people. I have a Saints hat on right now. I have a Saints jersey back there. Actually, I have a lot of football jerseys, but yeah, we're passionate fans. It's why we care about this stuff. It's the same thing with wrestling. You know, when you get that passion out there, it drives you. It just gets you there. Every little thing matters that much more, and that's why it's fun. But yeah, like that's funny. I'm watching my team, and it's like, oh, we're playing the freaking Giants. Why are we starting a drive with a punt? We're down 3-0 because we gave up a field goal. And then we go 3 and out, and we're like, why? And I'm like, they're 5-8. But then I look, I'm like, yeah, we're 6-7 though. We're 6-7, and I have expectations of being that much better than a 5-18. What am I doing? But it's just like, we're at the top of our division. That team is not. All of a sudden, I think we're just better because we're there. No, we're not. We're trash. No. We're in such a denial mode that it's hilarious. We have our list of injuries is about as long of a list of a grocery list for people who can't buy food. Why do I think we're winning this game? And I'm very much on the track of like, I don't care if our team makes the playoffs, because I think we probably learn more about ourselves by missing.
Well, I'll tell you, your defense is ready to win everything. Those guys, if you listen to their interviews,
you said that, and we just got it. Like, Davis just sacked.
I'm telling you, dude, your defense is not letting your team die. So those guys believe.
So this is why I'm frustrated with my team right now. As you said, we have a good defense, and I'm right there. My cousin was looking at one of my fantasy keeper teams, and he's like, "You got the Saints defense?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, they're a top 10 defense. They're good." Lattimore just does not get the respect that he deserves as a corner. Just doesn't, and he's one of the best in the league. I won't say the best. I don't know. You know, like
top 5.
Like, yeah, and when you have 32 teams and you're saying top 5 and some teams have 2 really good ones, like, come on, man. Like, that's pretty good. We got Cam Jordan, who I think is a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Demario Davis is just phenomenal. We got talent there. Then I look over at our offense. Okay, Michael Thomas, when healthy, is a stud, but when healthy? And that's the question mark. Okay, and we won't get past the question mark. That's red flag number 1 to me. We have Chris Olave, an absolute young stud who doesn't get the ball every week. Oh, that's a question mark. Alvin Kamara is an absolute workhorse, and he's frustrated with the lack of production. Question mark. We have a quarterback who doesn't know how to get out of the pocket quick enough, takes sacks because he holds his ball too long.
Yeah.
And then gets mad at his offensive line when it doesn't go his way. Red flag. And then, as I said, he can get to the 20 once he's in the red zone. he's a deer in the headlights. All of a sudden, he just got caught by his parents having too much alone time in his bedroom, and he doesn't know what to do next. It blows my mind because the talent's there, but for whatever reason. And we have a head coach that will never in a press conference say his quarterback needs to be better, because that was his guy from college. This guy again now, he won't say anything, but he will bring up accountability. He'll bring up other people in other positions. He'll say his defense needs to be better. We can make better plays. We could have sacked more. That's on our defense. But then when you have 38 passing yards with 8 minutes left in a fourth quarter, that's not on your offense. That's not on your quarterback.
Absolutely not.
That's a red flag. And then Pete Carmichael, our offensive coordinator, forgets that Drew Brees retired 4 or 5 years ago. He forgot that Sean Payton is on the Denver Broncos right now, because he still calls plays like we're primed up win the Super Bowl against the Colts again. So that's like, to me, that's just in a nutshell of like why the team is 6-7 yet they're still in the lead for a division.
Yeah.
How easy of a division is that to win? All you have to do is just not be idiots, and you're golden.
Yeah. And that's the luxury of being in that. But also it's a credit to your defense to not just rely on that. Your defense is still pushing. Your defense is still grinding it and making sure that they give the offense the best possible set of downs they can.
There's a pride factor there. Like,
exactly.
You go out there, you do your job.
I mean, I've been to a Saints game. It's a phenomenal fan base down there.
So yeah, I haven't. I actually haven't.
Well, I used to live down that area, so
yeah, that's fair. Did you like it?
Yeah, it's a great. Like I said, the fan base is fun. I'll tell you this: any southern sports team you can get to, especially in college, if you can get down there. I've been to an Alabama game, and that's what made me an actual SEC fan. I enjoy those types of environments where you can just be walking with somebody else's shirt. It's not even that college. And I was wearing a Mississippi State shirt at the time, and I had people pulling me over to their whatever they were grilling up. I had, po' boys, I had crawfish, I just had tons of food, sausages, and it was fun. They razz you about your shirt and everything, but they have a good time with you, and just it's so loud in that stadium. Like, I don't think people realize it unless you've been there. And this fan base gets behind the Saints, like behind them.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in a local, like, I'm a part of the official North Saints fan club here, which is funny because I'm sure there's probably more, but they say we're official, so I was like,
you're official.
Yeah, I'm untouchable, right?
Very true.
I
like the
but no, like,
that.
So I've never been to a Saints game, but I have been to a Pro Bowl, and it was actually funny because it was a Pro Bowl where Drew Brees played. So I was very fortunate that I have seen Drew Brees play. I just never saw him in the Superdome, in the spotlight of the way I wanted to see him. And what was cool is we're driving down, because it was one of those when it was in Hawaii. We're driving down, and my brother was driving, and then all of a sudden this van just cuts him off.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother, road rage, right? Like, he gets mad, like, especially on things like that, right? And he's like, what the, just cursing this guy out. Then it cuts us off only to stop because there's a line to get into the parking lot. All of a sudden, it's the van that has the 2 sliding doors, one on each side, right? Both of those open. We see a guy come out both sides with 2 beers each just to give it to us, to apologize for cutting us off. They just wanted to get to the tailgating. And it was just like, yeah. And my brother was then even twice as mad because the people in the car, everyone was legal to drink. He was drinking, so he couldn't. So we had 5 people in the car. You do the math. Guess who doesn't get a drink?
That's awesome.
So it was really funny. So all of a sudden, like, I haven't even got to the stadium yet, and I already have a pretty funny story. Then we get there and you're seeing all the fan bases of all the teams, and it was just really cool. Tailgating galore. Blows my mind why in Canada we don't do that with the CFL. We literally put boxes of beer in the snow because there's no room in the fridge, or we need room in the fridge to put the leftovers. We're going to order at 12 at midnight or whatever, or we don't want, our significant other to get mad at us for having an excess amount of beer in the fridge.
Yes.
So, but yeah, we go there. My brother, he's a Packer fan, but he loved John Elway. He had his John Elway jersey on, and one of the guys is like, "Yeah, you wrecked my childhood." And it's like, my brother, what? And then he looks at the jersey, he's like, "Oh, yeah." And I honestly don't remember who. He might have been a Bills guy or something. Probably somewhere like,
Oh, that makes perfect
Elway
sense.
just beat up sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then in my head, I'm just like, no, your shitty team wrecked your childhood, man.
The fact your parents didn't teach you about cheering for winners wrecked your childhood.
Go jump on a table, man, because that'll help everything.
Very true.
But yeah, it was just absolutely just, enthralled by, that aspect. And I'm just like, oh, this is so cool. And I'm like,
Yeah, that would be.
And then I see like college football isn't, it's not the same in Canada as it is in the US. And it's more of a religion, I find, in the US.
Oh, yeah.
It's just there. Yeah. And it's like, okay. I want to go to a Saints game. I think that's something I need to do. I've had offers to go to the Superdome before in the past, but it was not for a Saints game. It was for WrestleMania 30 that I turned down, by the way, because I said if I'm ever going into that building, it's to see the Saints play. That's first.
You're a fool.
I've already been to a WrestleMania in Chicago, by the way. Yeah.
You could have peed in a urinal and possibly one of the Saints greats is pissed in. Just saying.
Yeah, but you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to piss in the urinal. A great saint walked in. Well, another great saint walks in and pisses in the urinal beside me because it's game day.
Hey, a lot of them liked the WWE, so a lot of them would have been there.
Yeah, but I wanted this is during the time where Breeze was still
no, I totally
there.
get it.
We had it's just one of those things.
Totally
I needed it, and hey man, I'm still there. I'm still at that point. I will not enter that building unless it's for a Saints game. That's just a rule that I have. If I go there, it's for the reason why I want to go there.
I'll tell you this. I used to refuse to go to the Pacers stadium down here. I just absolutely hate the Pacers. But I got a chance to see Carmelo Anthony play when he played for the Knicks. And so I bought a ticket just to go watch Carmelo Anthony play in his last year. Well, one of his last years. His definite last year with the Knicks. I'll tell you that. I don't know. I was a huge fan of his when he started. So I had to go.
I think the only actual basketball game I've gone to now, I'll be honest, it's Edmonton doesn't have a basketball team. The only times Canada had one in my lifetime were the Vancouver Grizzlies and the Toronto Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to point this out there. Just because Canada has one team does not mean that's the team I'm cheering for. I'm just pointing that out. I don't give a flying raptor about Toronto's basketball team. I'm not a huge basketball guy. One, I'm a 5'7" white guy. There is nothing about basketball that I can relate to because I'm still just learning to dunk on Fisher Price hoops, let alone real ones. I'm looking up it's somehow Bret Hart, and I'm the kid going, Bret. And it's just, I don't know. I'm just oh, I need one of those trampolines that a mascot does just to get there. I mean, I have my okay, the basketball jersey I have. I do have an Indiana Pacers one, by the way. I bought. Well, it was in the time where I was buying jerseys. I owned as a $7 jersey,
I don't care.
fully stitched, everything.
Should have been
And I was
free.
like, yeah,
Fuck Reggie Miller.
it wasn't Reggie Miller.
I don't care. That's why I don't like. They can go boop boop themselves.
And let's face it, the Pacers, where I live, we have the same colors. So it was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, okay, that works.
I'm like, it's nice. It's a good color combination. The blue and yellow it's a nice color combination. Awesome. That's why I think I had an affection for the Buffalo Sabres hockey team, because I like the colors too.
Yeah.
Also, I knew a guy that played on there too, so that helped. But no, like I got my Irish LeBron James jersey. I have a Kobe one. I have an MJ one. In my eyes, 3 of the best people to ever play basketball.
I agree with you.
At
least on 2 of those.
I think like the only one I should have got was Steve Nash. Steve Nash is, the man.
He was pretty beast.
Yeah, other than that, like there's not really a lot of people that I care about. I think basketball is a very prima donna type game anyway, especially the NBA. I rather watch the NCAA because at least people care about playing for something in that league.
Yeah.
Also, March Madness
basketball bores me. Except March Madness. March Madness.
I was going to say March Madness makes the NBA playoffs look like amateur hour.
Very true.
But yeah, how did we get on a basketball, by the way?
Yeah, we didn't even expect that one.
No, I didn't.
Well, we were talking about stadiums that we wouldn't go to unless a certain thing happened, and so I mentioned the Pacers.
Yeah. Now, I will say, though, I think my stance of going to the Superdome not to see the Saints will be different if I go to another game to watch the Saints. Like I told my brother, I will gladly go to Lambeau if the Packers and the Saints are playing, just because I think Lambeau's awesome.
Sorry, I got the Bears game on right in front of me, too.
The timing, though, was terrific because I said Lambeau's awesome, and you're just like, oh, and yeah, well, Green Bay.
Clip that,
Chicago. Like the timing was just perfect. So there's part of me of like, I'm pretty sure you're watching the Bears, but at the same time, I'm thinking like, oh, you're gonna like shit on me for saying I wanted to go to Lambeau.
No, after watching him muff that punt, yeah, I could understand why you'd want to go to Lambeau.
No, I love the outdoor aspect. I love atmospheres. I love auras. I think I would much rather go to a game like a team that I can't stand because that's a atmosphere you have to be a part of.
Yeah.
Right. Going to like Seattle, just be a part of that crowd. One of the loudest barns in the game. Like that would be cool. Going to Madison Square Garden once would be freaking cool, even though it still bugs me that they renovated and we don't get the cool set or the different setups like we used to for like WWE. When like, that was just such an iconic different, like anytime they were in Madison Square Garden, you can tell. Now I can't. So to me, I think that's what the video game needs to do. They need to bring back, like, how they always have SummerSlam 88 in there?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Just let me do old school Madison Square Garden in a game. And you have that old setup. And I can just use that as when I'm building my arena, I can use that as my layout. That would be cool. Because I think everyone will, they'll know where they are when they see that. And I think that'll be cool. But
I like that aspect.
It'd be different. You're just adding different elements to a video game that can't hurt people caring about it for. But are you going to be okay?
Dude, I don't know if they just allowed DJ Moore to get this catch, but he was in bounds. Fields just threw a nice little 25-yard dump off to the sideline. They're challenging it. He had both feet in. Come on.
Okay, I gotta ask because in
Yeah.
college you only need 1 foot in bounce for a catch. For NFL, you need both, or you need at least 2 limbs. What do you personally like better? Because I'm starting
One.
to see I'm starting to like that, but I also respect the talent a lot more when they can get both in.
I do too, but I also love the theatrics when they know all they have to do is get one in. Just
Yeah.
go back and watch Charles Woodson and
Now
the interceptions he had.
I'll say this though: if they're gonna change to a 1, I think it has to be a foot and nothing else.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then also, if you're doing 1, the ball has to touch the plank. No, it has to touch the end zone in some form.
No, I
It
agree with
can't
you on that.
and like you'd have to make those changes because it can't. I don't like it to be that easy for people.
Yeah,
When
I
we when
like
we
that.
when we see the ridiculous amount of athleticism that is just to catch a ball and keep it in,
Mm-hmm.
there has to be something there to make it a little bit more challenging. And I think I respect that a little bit. That's why I think I don't hate the 2 foot because it can be like, oh, you can get a foot and a knee or something like that.
Yeah. No,
My thing,
I like it. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
And like you said, it gives that aspect of the physicality that they have to do that. But I'm here for the
yeah.
DDP bang.
What you're saying, like you like the theatrics of it.
Yes.
I also love the dramatics of football when
Yeah.
everything comes down to one play and it has to be that way. Like to me, I think that's also what helps the game. I can get past that one. It just has to touch the plank of the end zone. I'd much rather see the tip of the ball reach the part of the end zone. Now, I know I just don't like the whole you have a football, you run it, you just do that. Oh yeah, I'm there. Such a poshy way of. I just want to punch everyone who does that. Like I don't know why. There's something about that I just hate.
I can
Like on,
understand that.
it's like, do you remember the Mighty Ducks movies?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that scene where Adam Banks has like he scores a goal and he has his arm out there and someone just tomahawks uh his hand with the stick. I think it was on 2 when they were part of the USA.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has that issue with his wrist. Every time I see a quarterback run, and I'm kind of thinking Mahomes every time I do this, but he just puts his arm out and extends it. I just want somebody to tomahawk his hand right there.
You're hoping someone goes out and does a Mighty Ducks.
I
Right.
love my violent NFL. All right. I miss the volatile, violent NFL. I want that to come back.
1, 2. He's all right.
Focus. Focus. Focus.
Yeah, I'm trying.
But yeah. We talked a lot of non-wrestling today. Appreciate that. That was probably fun. It was a nice change of pace. But yeah. First off, I think that's probably going to be it for this week. But before I want to go there, I just want to let everybody know, yes, this is the 27th. Next week, the 24th, there will be no live version of the Chris Perish podcast. In fact, I'll be interviewing a good friend of mine and playing that on that day instead. People would know a lot if they know a lot about my story in ring. They know that I am very much intertwined with the local wrestler, Son of Irish. His father, the Irishman, is somebody I've traveled the roads with. In fact, he was part of my wedding party as well.
Wow.
And on Wednesday, we'll be recording just a one-on-one conversation, and that will be playing at 12:15 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. It'll be a pre-recorded thing played live. So just letting everyone know what to expect, because obviously on December 24th, we're heading into that Christmas season. So yeah, we're not going to do that, but I do believe to still give people content and do something and have that out there for everyone, but just so you know, there will be no live episode of the Chris Perish podcast. It will be pre-recorded for you on next Sunday. So with that in tow, I do wish everyone here a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. We will return on the 31st for a live one. I will say that. I will put that one out there. So I will be, whether JJ, you want to be a part of that, or you want to get ready for the night to be. I mean, I'm cool either way.
Yeah, the night to be. Yep. Yeah, I'm an old man. I don't do New Year's.
I'm very
Another
curious.
day.
I'm up all the time anyway, so I'm very curious to see how I'm going to be on that one. Because I know I miss going out, but at the same time, I kind of don't like going out because nothing's better than just getting drunk and then you're just on your couch and just like bed here.
Yeah.
Done. Netflix.
YouTube here. Click.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of James Bond movies the last little bit.
Some good stuff.
I'm excited. Who's your favorite James Bond?
Sean.
Because I'm gonna go there. Daniel Craig kicked the snot out of that part.
He did. He really did. But when I think James Bond, Sean Connery is just who I go to. That's what I grew up with. That's what got me loving James Bond as a kid.
I look at James Bond the same way as I look at Batman, in a weird way. A lot of guys play the Rico Suave part of James Bond really good, and then a lot of people play the secret agent part of him really good.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get people that do both. Kind of like Batman with Bruce Wayne and Batman. Somebody plays a really good Bruce Wayne, George Clooney. Somebody plays a really good Batman, Val Kilmer. They just shit the bed on the other part.
Ben Affleck.
I still think Ben Affleck should have got his own movie. I wanted to see him do his own movie, not a Super League one.
No,
I just wanted that. But
no, you don't.
I will say, Adam West, not my favorite.
No,
Batman.
you don't.
I think Christian Bale was my favorite Batman, to be quite honest.
What?
Yeah, I really liked it. The more
You're
I watched
insane.
those movies, I really enjoyed his Batman.
It's entertaining. I do get it, but you got to go. Keaton. Keaton was the Batman.
Keaton to me just looked like a giant bitch back then too, though.
He can't help technology.
I wanted to see Michael Keaton today do mixed with Michael. Yeah, dude.
Whoa.
Well, like Michael Keaton just looks like a badass now when he was in the Spider-Man movie and stuff like that.
That's
he
true.
looked more of a badass. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of want my Batman. Like Robert Pattinson played a good fucking badass.
They'll probably do it. It's coming up. They'll have something. They have to expand the Batman verse.
Well, Pattinson is coming back for another one.
Gross.
Yeah, I thought the last one was pretty good. It was just really long.
Yeah.
But no, I will say Daniel Craig, I think almost every one he did was a banger of a movie.
They were good.
Quantum of Solace always is going to be my last place, but by no means was that bad. It's just one that I'm going to be honest. The Bond girl matters.
You're ridiculous.
It matters.
I thought we were wrapping this thing up, and now you're going into James Bond.
I'm just saying every part of the movie matters, especially the character.
Very true.
But yeah, no, we are moving out. Josh, I just want to what all do you have coming up, and where can the good people find you?
Well, you can always find me on the In Your House Productions landscape. We're out there on the YouTubes, the Twitter, known as X now, Facebook, everything out there, Spotify. You can always catch our podcast dubbed as an audio, usually a couple days after we release the video. Myself is the Window Lickers watch along podcast, where you can find me watching SmackDown and AEW Collision. Other than that, you can catch me here hanging out with Perish every once in a while, seeing what happens, what we get to talk about.
Yeah. And you mentioned that, and I just want to also put the good old announcement on that the Chris Perish podcast now is live on well, not live, but it is now on Spotify. So if you have a Spotify account, all you have to do is go into that podcast section, type the Chris Perish podcast. You can find this very podcast on Spotify now. So just to give you one more outlet of where you can find it. It is not live though. It will be uploaded within the week. So in by case, if you missed any of the previous episodes, you can go to Spotify and check them out. Episodes 1 and 2 are on there. Episode 3 will be uploaded very shortly to that, so you can definitely see that. Once again, if just to get it out there, because it does help the channel if you use this, go to rogueenergy.com, use the promo code PERISH, PERISH, PERISH. You can save 10% off your order all the time. The only thing you can't do is you can't stack those promo codes. So yeah, if you want to help out the show, you use promo code PERISH. If you want to help yourself, use the better ones. Yep, I'm honest. I give you 10. There's going to be some that gives you 15. I'm no dummy. 15 is better than 10, but the 15 doesn't help me. So just honest. You can find me on all the socials. Obviously, you're watching here, whether it's the Twitch at twitch.tv/ChrisPerish, whether it's the Facebook at the Chris Perish, at YouTube at Chris Perish. You can follow me on the X at Chris Perish. You can follow me on Instagram, the Threads at Chris.perish. You can see me on TikTok, Chris Perish. And for that reason, you can find me this Sunday, on an episode 4 with the Irishman in a pre-recorded conversation. Check that out. But on Monday, make sure you're checking over to Turnbuckle Studios, where you can see myself, Chris Best. No Carl Carafel. He is off this week. So could be Bubba Duke, could be, I know OMD is going to be there. But yeah, come see us as we're going to be dubbed now. I asked people. We're now known as the Raw Patrol. Yeah.
The Raw Patrol. That's weird.
Yeah. Well, it's like Paw Patrol, but it's Raw, right?
Oh, I get it. It's clever.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I came up with it. You probably could tell that. But yeah, it's about 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday nights. Come check us out. We're just having fun watching Monday Night Raw. So if you want to just come, shoot the breeze, enjoy yourself, and watch us be idiots while watching Raw at Turnbuckle Studios at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday is the place to be. And then again, the very next day, 8:05 on Tuesday at Turnbuckle Studios. Make sure you're checking out myself and Chris Best. Yes, it's me on Turnbuckle Talk, co-hosting with Chris Best, because Carl Carafel cannot be there. So yeah, you might want to come and check that out. Yeah, and that is what I have coming up. So for everyone, please enjoy your time. Be safe. Don't make any irrational decisions. Don't spend more money than you have to. Just get the right gifts for the people that you love. But at the same time, be with the people you love. This week is going to be hectic, and I just want everyone to get through it, have fun, be safe, and remember to always love your close ones. It's so important. But thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate that. We'll see you next time on the Chris Perish podcast. Have a good day, everyone.